exuberant, market-savvy, fashionista. These three terms could be used to describe a good friend of mine, but the stories and events that the two of us have experienced together will do justice. 4 years ago, I had the privilege of meeting a freshman FFA member who stood about to my shoulders in height. Apparently, times have changed, as Jason now skyscrapes over me. Thanks, gravity. Whether it be the constant trips to the convenience stores, riding giraffes and elephants on a miniature golf course, or never being allowed to quit a game of Monopoly purely for the sake of proving a point, knowing Jason has shaped my life in ways that I could have never imagined. But what I admire most about Jason is his genuine care for the people around him. His desire to put smiles on the faces of each and every one of us is what defines him. I am proud to have experienced life's moments with him, and I am very honored to consider him family.
So I was sitting in my dorm room a few months ago in the evening, and I get a call from a very excited Jason saying, "Georgia, I just shot my first gun." As if this isn't a scary enough thought, if for anybody out there who knows Jason, that is quite scary. He then continues to say, "By the way, how much room is in the freezer in your dorm room? Because I want to put my duck in it." Well, there's not much room, but he also tells me that he wants to get it taxidermied and put on his desk when he is a CEO someday. Also, it was a mud hen. Yeah. This was just one of many, many stories that Jason has told me throughout this year, and with every story, I could really feel his passion and his love for California FFA and for all the members that he had the opportunity to serve this year.
Talented, charismatic, and having an impeccable sense of style are three things that Jason has always had growing up. However, through this past year, I've seen him become much more than that. He's become a true friend, a genuine role model to every FFA member out there, and someone I'm proud to call my brother.
Growing up with two other brothers, our lives were eventful, to say the least. And to quote Ryan Porter from this morning, there was a lot of, "Dude, I have a good idea," which is probably why our parents have gray hairs now. One of our ideas, though, that was pretty good, I think, was mini baseball. Has anyone ever heard of mini baseball? Anyone who said yes, you're a liar, because me, Kyle, and Jason patented it. It's our idea, no one else knows of it. We're the only ones. I'm sorry, you could talk to us later and join. Just to let you know what mini baseball is, it consists of a bat that's about 10 inches long, a small ball, a backyard that's about this size of the stage, and we would play every single day over the summer. And we'd follow three golden rules. Rule number one, after the second inning, you gotta take a snack break. That was the first rule. Second rule, Jason gets an extra strike. Don't ask me why. Third rule, Brad can't pitch fast to Jason. What a big baby. Even if we followed these rules, the game usually ended in about the third inning with a huge brawl in which Mom had to play umpire and break us up. However, playing mini baseball or watching you lead the California FFA this past year, Jason, I could truly say that I look up to you, and there's no question in my mind you're my best friend. And that's why it's a distinct honor that we get introduced to you.
His retiring address entitled 3 Key Investments.
Please welcome to the stage your 2012-2013 State FFA Treasurer,
Jason Mendes.
Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in in a sandpit. Life is a short trip, the music's for the sad man. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really want to live forever?
Growing up, there is one summer which I will never forget. The summer when I was 8. While I had a lot of great memories growing up, there's one from that summer that I will always cherish. That was the summer that my dad put in a brand new glass backboard, 10-foot regulation-sized basketball hoop in our backyard. That whole next summer will be spent outside each and every day, learning from and playing the game of basketball with my older brothers, Brad and Kyle. That summer, I fell in love with the game of basketball. Each and every day, it consumed my thoughts and became all I wanted to do. Basketball became my passion. Fast forwarding a few more years to 4th grade. The first time I would ever go to a Modesto High School basketball game. An image to this day I can still vividly depict. Walking into one of the oldest high school gyms in the state, I was immediately filled with a sense of pride and school tradition. Walking into the arena was alive with the energy of hundreds of students in the cheering section, the varsity basketball players' portraits hung high above the scoreboard, and a packed house of fans ready to watch Modesto High basketball. I remember looking up at my dad at that moment and saying, I want to be a part of this. And although I didn't think it was possible, sitting in that gym, my passion for the game grew even larger. In my room, I had a wall full of quotes, with my favorite from the movie Any Given Sunday, reading life is a game of inches. And in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to get that inch. That quote became engraved in my mind and served as a constant reminder that I had to do anything and everything I could to give myself a leg up in the game of basketball and pursuing my passion. A few more years down the road, I would finally get my chance to step on the court for the Modesto High School Panthers. I can still remember that night in November. Getting ready in that locker room, I was filled with nerves and anxiety and couldn't calm myself down if I tried. However, it was all replaced with a feeling of excitement when I put on that black mesh jersey that read Panthers in crimson writing across the front. A feeling that I was finally here, following my passion and doing what I loved. That night was the start of something great. My freshman year was awesome. I was a starter and had a great season. Sophomore year, followed suit and had an even better season. Then junior year, what I had been dreaming about since 4th grade, playing varsity basketball for the Modesto High Panthers. We started working out as a team that summer, and I couldn't have been more excited. Hundreds of hours spent working, workouts before school, practice every day after school, and countless hours working on my own, all in hopes of 28 games and one varsity season I had been dreaming about since 4th grade. As the season got closer, I couldn't have been more stoked. The first game came around, I couldn't calm myself down. I couldn't even sit still walking around the house. By the time I got to the game, I was so excited I had the jitters. But when the ball got tipped off, I didn't find myself out on the court. I found myself sitting right here, watching from the bench. As a few more games passed, I still found myself sitting and watching from the bench. My passion for the game of basketball became deflated, and I stopped working. However, now, I had transferred any energy from becoming a better basketball player to complaining about how it wasn't fair that I wasn't getting to play, shooting down any chances I would have of living out my dream of being on that court. I began to tell myself that it wasn't a big deal. I didn't even care. I just wouldn't play next year. I honestly convinced myself that a passion I had been developing since I was 8 had completely diminished. It wasn't even my fault. I stopped investing myself. Physically, I found myself just running through the motions, putting a halt to any efforts to get better as a basketball player. Mentally, I found myself completely checked out. I was once overwhelmed with the thoughts and dreams of the game of basketball. However, now, I found myself rushing through practice to get anywhere else.
I found myself unhappy, and I thought my passion was gone. Physical and mental investments. These are simple enough concepts. When we start something new, we oftentimes find ourselves consumed in it because it's exciting. However, when that new and exciting feeling wears off, our minds oftentimes wander. We start to look for reasons to be absent at things, using excuses like, I'm too tired, or I just don't feel like it today. When things aren't new and exciting anymore, we're in the grind of things, when no one's there to give us any affirmation about what we're doing, that thing we were at one point so passionate about gets put on the back burner. We stop fighting for that inch. We allow others to pass us. When in all actuality, it's the time we should be reminding ourselves of that feeling we had when we first discovered that passion. Kind of like I needed to remind myself of the feeling I had when I first walked into that Modesto High gym and my passion was ignited. That next summer, I was thrown a lifeline, a new basketball coach. After a few meetings, I figured it was worth another shot. That next summer would be spent in numerous team and individual workouts with Coach Pete that left me feeling rejuvenated about the game of basketball and myself as a whole. I soon found myself staying after every single practice to continue working. My passion was back. As the season rolled around, I found myself back in the starting lineup, and I couldn't be more excited to be living out my dream. But after a few tough losses, I found myself developing a poor attitude again and beginning to run through the motions. And before I knew it, Coach Pete didn't have me in the starting lineup the next game, but right back here on the bench that I had worked so hard to get away from. And as my poor attitude continued, my playing time dwindled, and I watched from the bench until Coach Pete approached me one day. He asked what was wrong and why I was having such a poor attitude towards him and everyone else. I expressed I was upset in my own performance, the direction the team was going, and now to top it all off, he wouldn't even let me play very much. He snapped back at me, Mendes, you're upset because you truly care, and it's about time you actually follow through on something you're passionate about. Taken back, simply by the fact that he was right. He went on to tell me the only way I would ever succeed in anything I was passionate about was to invest in myself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. He went on to say, yeah, you're good enough to just slide by and be average in whatever you do, but the only way that you will ever find any true growth as a person and become a man is to invest yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And no bench can ever be an excuse for you to not invest in all three. Boom. Like a brick wall, those words hit me. You see, Coach Pete wasn't afraid to call me out on what needed to be said. He saw through the persona and the ego I had built up so high over all those years, saw the kid inside of me who loved the game of basketball no matter what. He taught me a tough lesson, but one that's had a monumental influence on who I am and who I want to become. Thank you, Coach Pete. Emotional investment. What does it mean to truly be emotionally invested in something? To me, it means being there to work through the highs and the lows. It means caring about what you're doing and the individuals around you as much as you care about yourself. Emotional investment is what gives us the ability to fight for that inch. It's the key to success. Now, it took me 17 years to truly emotionally invest in something. But why? At the end of the day, we don't emotionally invest because we're scared. We're afraid of vulnerability. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid that if we give everything we have and invest completely in something we're passionate about and come up a little bit short, we know the pain we'll feel will be worse than anything we've ever felt before. But if we don't allow ourselves to dive into these emotions, if we don't throw ourselves at these feelings, we can never truly experience anything. Emotional investment is the key. Now, I was able to finish out that season with a strong head on my shoulders, but the lessons I learned went far beyond that basketball court. See, it doesn't matter whether you're an athlete, in drama, or anything FFA related, the only way you can find any success is to invest yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, it took me some time on this bench and Coach Pete to teach me that lesson. However, this year is what's truly allowed me to live it. And to that, I owe immense amounts of gratitude. To the members, thank you guys for serving as a constant example. Thank you for showing me all the areas of life you're passionate about and pursuing them. To my teammates, thank you guys for being 5 of the most open-minded individuals I could not have been more blessed to spend a year with. Thank you for creating an environment which made me feel comfortable to not only invest in this year of service to the organization, but to you guys, as teammates and newfound family members. Thank you. California FFA, when you leave these doors, when you go back home, rediscover those things that you're passionate about. Remove that fear of failure and vulnerability, and truly dive in deep to what you're passionate about. At the end of the day, no matter what it is you love, no matter who it is you are, no matter what it is you're passionate about, the only way you can ever truly find any success is to invest.
thinking we were going down. I could feel us sinking. Then I came around, and everyone I've loved before flashed before my eyes, and nothing mattered anymore. I looked into the sky. Well, I wanted something better, man. I wished for something new, and I wanted something beautiful. I wished for something true. Been looking for a reason, man, something to lose. When the wheels come down, when the wheels come down, when the wheels touch ground, when the wheels touch ground, and you feel like it's all over, there's another round for you. When the wheels come down, when the wheels come down.
Tristan, Jay Sean, Sal, Jason. Hey girl, hey! Thank you for continuously pushing us to dress better and use expensive soap. Your complex stock portfolio has inspired us to be more financially sound. We can always count on you to have soup, steak, and bread before 10 a.m. and always go the extra mile on your expense claims. Thanks to you, we know the answer to any hypothetical question, and you're actually good at telling jokes, especially the frayed knot and dancing cookie. Some classic Jason lines were, "To each their own." That was my nickname in high school, and if I had a nickel for every time. Amongst all the silliness, you ensured that family was more than just a word, but instead something we earned, with which your level head and wise words helped us achieve. Your ability to think on your feet and speak with conviction while keeping things light has allowed our team to grow through various situations. We really admire your transparency, authenticity when forming relationships with not only our team, but the members as well. We'll miss your dance moves, alter egos, and open heart, but we digress. Grow always. Hannah, Leah, Kelsey, Tyler, and Kyle. California FFA, your 2012-2013 State FFA Treasurer, Mr. Jason Mendes.
Wish for something true, been looking for a reason.